Tenakoto katoa. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and friends beyond the binary, kia ora, assalamu alaikum, shalom aleichem, and welcome to the Dunedin Abrahamic Interfaith Group's 16th annual Peace Lecture. And also welcome to our, welcome to our speaker, Imam Gamal Fouda of Noor Mosque. The Imam is in great demand as a speaker and a symbol of resilience and spirituality and hope, and we're really honored that you could take time to come speak to us today for our 16th Peace Lecture. So this, just a couple of brief comments. This is a production of the Dunedin Abrahamic Interfaith Group, thanks to financial support from the Otago Chaplaincy Trust Board. The group is under the long-time guidance of Reverend Greg Hewson, university chaplain, without whose indefatigable dedication to the cause we would not, I think, be here today. Just a quick word about the Dunedin Abrahamic Interfaith Group from the website. The group was formed here in Dunedin in the aftermath of the events of September 11th, 2001, out of spontaneous expressions of solidarity and goodwill between leaders of our three faiths, the police and the Dunedin City Council. We exist to express a common heritage and concern as people of faith in Dunedin. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are all Abrahamic faiths. All three can trace their faith back to Abraham. Ordinary people from all three faiths share a deep desire for peace and justice. We seek to encourage and model friendship and respect for each other. The Peace Lecture is the most important public event in the DAIG calendar, and it cycles, well, I guess religiously, among the three religious traditions. My name is Jamin Halberstadt. I'm a professor of psychology at the University of Otago. You may remember me as the awkward Jewish guy at the 15th annual Dunedin Abrahamic Interfaith Group Peace Lecture. If you were at that one, I will just say it is very likely that this one will be less fraught, but no less thought-provoking. Thank you. All right, if you need to use the bathroom, I acknowledge that is a possibility. You will find those behind the wall. There may be some upstairs too, I'm not sure actually, but they're definitely behind this wall. Just go outside and around the back. I mean, not, in the hallway. In the event of a fire or other tornado or other act of God, I guess I would suggest you first contemplate God's real commitment to the peace process. Afterwards, I would say you should make your way peacefully to the outside there, and we would assemble out there, and someone will give us instructions about what to do after that. All right, so if you could turn off your cell phones, we'll get to the peacemaking. I'm going to introduce our introducer, my good friend and longtime friend of the Dunedin Abrahamic Interfaith Group, the Vice-chancellor of the world's greatest university, Otago, Professor Harleen Hain.
Ingamana, Engareo, Ro Rakatirama, Tenakoto, Tenakoto, Tenakoto. Norera, Ko Waio, Ko Harleen Hain, Takawingawa, Ko te tumuakio te whariwanaka o Otago aho. Namihi nui kia koto, Norera, Tenakoto, Tenakoto, Tenatato katoa. Good evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. It is fantastic to see so many people here tonight for this very distinguished event. As you are now aware, my name is Harleen Hain, and I have the great privilege of being the Vice-chancellor here at the University of Otago, and I am extremely pleased to be here this evening to introduce our guest speaker for the Otago Chaplaincy and Dunedin Abrahamic Interfaith Peace Lecture. But before I introduce our speaker, I think that a peace lecture is an opportune time to take a moment for all of us to count our blessings. As for me, not a day goes by that I do not reflect on the privilege of being the Vice-chancellor here at the University of Otago. I am blessed to lead a university that is full of gifted researchers and award-winning teachers and a highly skilled group of professional staff, including our chaplaincy team, so many of whom are here with us this evening. I'm also blessed by the students who attend the University of Otago. These bright, articulate, and ambitious young people come from all over New Zealand and the rest of the world to study with us. And while they are here, they have a very unique opportunity to experience a residential environment that characterizes all of the world's great universities. Now, because our students come here not only to learn, but also to live, they have ample opportunity to meet others whose cultural practices or religious beliefs are different from their own. We know that that kind of interpersonal experience that our students have at Otago stay with them for a lifetime, forever changing the way they think about things like religion and community, society, and peace. But sometimes, amongst all these blessings, tragedy strikes. And this year, on March 15th, tragedy struck all of New Zealand when a gunman opened fire on the Noor and Linwood mosques in Christchurch. Now, remarkably perhaps, in the midst of all of that tragedy, I actually experienced some of my proudest moments here at the University of Otago. Our staff and students in Christchurch provided excellent medical care to the families, and they continue to provide a huge amount of pastoral support for all of those in their community who have suffered. Here in Dunedin, 10,000 of our staff and students marched in silence to the stadium to pay our respects to the victims of the Christchurch massacre, and both staff and students provided words of hope at that civic service, including the president of our Muslim Students Association, who I noticed snuck in through the back. So it's very nice to see you here. And I guess the other thing to point out is that in the wake of this kind of tragedy, it would be really natural for people to turn in their grief to anger and further violence. But thanks to the leadership of our Prime Minister, New Zealand's reaction was actually one of peace. But the Prime Minister was not alone. Tonight's speaker also stood at the center of this call for peace. On behalf of the University of Otago, it is a great honor for me to welcome the Imam of the Noor Mosque, Gamal Fouda, to speak with us this evening. Now, Gamal is a native of Egypt, and he studied Islamic studies in Al-Zura University in Cairo. It happens to be one of my favorite cities in the world. He moved to New Zealand in 2003, first serving as the Imam of the Palmerston North Mosque, and then as the Imam of Al-Huda Mosque here in Dunedin. And while he was here in Dunedin, Gamal also attended the College of Education, majoring in primary education. So in more ways than one, you are really one of us. Gamal moved to the United Arab Emirates in 2010 to pursue a career as a teacher at the International School in Dubai. And in 2014, he returned to New Zealand. And in 2016, he moved to Christchurch to assume the leadership of Al-Noor Mosque. Gamal, I'm very humbled to welcome you back home to Dunedin, and I would now ask everyone to join me inviting you to give your presentation. Noor, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou.
الحمد لله رب العالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters in my hometown Dunedin, I've got my third daughter born here in Dunedin 10 years ago. I got 2 children in Noor, and 2 daughters in Noor, and 1 daughter in Dunedin, and then another daughter in Christchurch. So I have 4 daughters plus my wife, so 5 ladies in my home. Thank you, Vice-chancellor. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your invitation, and I'm really humbled and I'm privileged to come and talk to you tonight. Thank you to the Abrahamic Interfaith group. Thank you, Greg, my friend. When I moved to Dunedin in 2006, I met Greg, and then he took me to the mayor of Christchurch, and they welcomed me to the city. So I was privileged to work with them as a person to represent Muslims in the Abrahamic Interfaith group. Kia ora, tēnā koutou, shalom, frieden, heping, shantai. Assalamu alaikum, and good evening, everyone. My name is Gamal Fouda. I am the Imam, or the religious minister, at Dean's Avenue Mosque in Christchurch, New Zealand. Thank you for inviting me tonight, and I'm honored to address you as well. It is my pleasure to share with you my story and my journey when I first came to New Zealand in 2003. I went to Al-Azhar University in Cairo, Egypt. I studied Islamic studies and graduated in 1998. For 2 years, I worked as an imam or religious minister in the Ministry of Religious Affairs in Cairo. Then the president of the Muslim Association of Greater Rockford in Illinois in the USA came to know about me from a friend who visited the USA at that time. He called me in Egypt to see if I will agree to become an imam in their mosque in Rockford. The congregation of that Islamic center interviewed me after one of Ramadan night prayers in the USA time. It was early morning in Egypt. The interview went very well, and they decided to offer me the job. Few days later, the president of the association flew to Egypt and came to my village to visit me, and we went together to the Minister of Religious Affairs in Egypt to actually get the approval and finish the process and probably get a visa to the USA. Unfortunately, this was directly after September 11th attack on New York. It was early 2002. The Egyptian officials told us that it is not safe to send such a young person to the USA. Instead, they said they were going to send me to one of the safest countries in the world. It was New Zealand. We all thought it would be safe. I searched the internet about New Zealand, and unexpectedly, I found it in the bottom of the world. Initially, I thought that it must be close to Holland or Switzerland in Europe. I got really disappointed because I am going to be sent to a country in the bottom of the world, which is very, very far away from my home country. Anyway, I started the process of my posting to New Zealand as an imam in Palmerston North, in the lower North Island of New Zealand. I arrived in Palmerston North in January 2003. It was really hard for me to start my job there as an imam who needs to address people in English. I did not have long experience enough to understand the Western mentality as well, so that I can address people in the right way. There was something else which made me very anxious. It is the feeling that people assume that Muslims are bad people. This stereotyping was the norm of the day for many people in the world at that time, especially after September 11th. Sadly, it is still the norm today. I felt very frustrated and anxious at the same time. When I arrived in Palmas Noor, believe it or not, I stayed in the mosque for around 4 months. I never went out. Frankly speaking, I was so scared to go out and meet people out there. I was very frightened to walk in the street wearing the Imam uniform because people would recognize me as a Muslim and they might cause harm to me. After 2 months, I started to go out of my room and cautiously stood by the gate and read the Holy Quran. Whenever I hear any noise of a car coming towards the mosque, I quickly run inside the building to save my life. I thought that if someone recognizes me, he would kill me instantly. You might wonder how I got my food then. People from the mosque used to do shopping for me, and sometimes graciously and generously they cook food for me as well. One day I said to myself, let me wear a shirt and a trouser so that people cannot recognize me as Imam. The first person met me in the street, approached me and said, "Hello, bro." I asked myself what this man was saying. Later on, I asked the person in the mosque who lived in New Zealand for quite some time about what that man said. And my friend told me, this is the short form of "hello, brother." I said to myself, this is nice. People here must be very kind then. Ladies and gentlemen, on the 15th of March 2019, a terrorist walked into Dean's Avenue Mosque when I was delivering my Friday speech. One of our worshippers went up to the man and said, "Hello, brother." Hard-heartedly, the terrorist killed him in cold blood, along with other 51 people. He wounded 47 more. So the same word we use for peace was viciously disregarded by a human beast who attacked the peaceful worshippers in Dean's Avenue Mosque and gunned them down. Who could have imagined such a horrific attack might happen in New Zealand? The country that used to be famous for its peace, tranquility, compassion, care, and love around the globe. Whenever any person asks about the most peaceful country in the world, instantly people would say, it is New Zealand. This terrible person wanted to divide our nation apart. But we quickly stood together and we said that no hate will not divide us. The whole world watched that on the media, from the top person in this country to the ordinary person in the street. On March 22nd, 1 week after 15th of March, I addressed thousands of people in Hagley Park and said, Hate will not divide us, and love will redeem us. Ladies and gentlemen, a week later, I visited Berlin Wall and the checkpoint Charlie, which was a crossing point between East Berlin and West Berlin during the Cold War. I paid a historic visit to the biggest synagogue in Berlin, where I addressed some students and preachers. I told them that Muslims and Jews are siblings to each other. The Jews felt the pain of discrimination by Nazis. Now Muslims are passing through the same path of agony and disgrace. After September 11, when many countries participated in the war on terror, Islam and Muslims have frequently been treated as public enemies, and hate speech against them has been widely normalized. People assume that Muslims and Jews are enemies, but we are not. Judaism, Islam, and Christianity are religions from God. God told us to love each other and work together for the benefit of the people around us and those in our society. Religions are there for people to learn how to love each other. They are not there to build a wall between you and the people around you. Islam teaches us to love each other and to care about each other. Any religion that teaches violence and killing innocent people is not from the true God who created all of us. Because God loves us. He created us. He cares for us. We are from Him. He is our God, the Creator, the Nourisher, and the Sustainer. He gave us everything. He gave us our heart, our eyes, the power, the ability, the health, the wealth, everything we enjoy is from God. So God loves us. He wants us to love each other and to share the planet in peace with each other. And it is His wisdom to make us different from each other in color, in language, ethnicities, so that we can enjoy this earth together. If you want to be a doctor, and I want to be a doctor, who is going to be a teacher, or a builder, or a hairdresser? If everyone wants the same tomato, we end up killing each other for a tomato. Ladies and gentlemen, it is up to us. We need to make good choices. We need to work with each other and to cooperate with each other and to care for each other. Though we are different, but we can still enjoy each other and love each other. New Zealand and New Zealanders have set a role model for the world to emulate in peace and harmony among its people. New Zealanders must retain and strengthen this beautiful image. We are the leaders of the world in maintaining the harmony among our citizens. We are very proud that we are together. We are not broken. We have taught the world how to care for and love our people. We still have lots of work to do to eliminate racism in our country. We are not angels, and we are not perfect. There are people here who still need more education to learn how to tolerate others and understand others and accept others who are different to them. In 2038, half of New Zealand will be immigrants, which means that one day we'll probably have immigrant mayors or ministers. Whether we want it or not, or accept it or not, this is the right of every New Zealand citizen. I have moved from my home country to New Zealand, and now this is my land. It is my place. It is the place of my family and my children. It is my Turanga Waiwai. I love this soil. I love this land. And I love this place. I love these people. I love us because we are one. This is my home. I cherish it. I love people, and I expect people to love me. And this is what brings harmony to our beautiful nation. Ladies and gentlemen, diversity is the superpower of any nation. When people love and care for each other, the whole nation will be very strong and powerful. When we hate each other, the nation becomes weak and shattered. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "The believers are like one body. When any part aches, the whole body will feel the pain." I believe that when any one of us aches, we all feel the pain. That is what happened on the 15th of March. The whole nation felt the pain. It was an attack on all of us, Muslims and non-Muslims, people of faith and no faith. It was a war against New Zealand. It was a war against peace and love. Ladies and gentlemen, please, I would like all the peace lovers to carry peace in our hearts, to express our love to all human beings, and to share this planet with love and care for each other. I admire two great leaders in our world today. The Honorable Pope Francis, the head of the Catholic Church and sovereign of the Vatican City-State, and Dr. Ahmed al-Tayyib, the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar in Egypt, the head of the vast majority of Muslims around the world. These brave religious leaders signed a historic document on human fraternity for world peace and living together. They called for peace between nations, religions, and races in front of a global audience of religious leaders from Christianity, Islam, and other faiths in Abu Dhabi early this year. The two great leaders pledged that Al-Azhar and the Vatican will work together to combat hate speech and racism, and most importantly, to fight extremism. The document warns against a third world war being fought piecemeal, gradually. The document says people must not use religions to incite war, hateful attitudes, hostility, and extremism, nor must they incite violence or the shedding of blood. They appealed to all people to reject awful violence and blind extremism. They asked us to cherish the values of tolerance and fraternity that are promoted and encouraged by religions. And they declared that God has created us to understand one another, cooperate with one another, and live as brothers and sisters who love one another. This is what they hope and seek to achieve with the aim of finding a universal peace that all can enjoy in this life. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to see our country, New Zealand, a country with zero discrimination. New Zealand now is sitting on the international stage for peace and social cohesion among its citizens of all races and colors. We are leading the world towards love, compassion, and care for each other and every individual in our nation. The world wants to learn from us. The whole world got surprised at how we quickly came together after such a horrific attack on the innocent worshippers in Dean's Avenue Mosque on March 15th. We have to maintain this prestigious position through our care and love towards each other. This is the challenge we are facing at the moment. The country has to find ways how to stay in that unique position. Racial discrimination is a serious matter and cannot be accepted in our society. Hate speech on social media is part of racial discrimination, and it can kill and cause disharmony in our society. You may have been racially discriminated against if someone makes offensive remarks or jokes about your religion, your race, your color, your ethnicity or nationality, mimics the way you speak, calls you racist names, send you racially offensive materials on the social media. It can be something small, like deliberately mispronouncing your name. We have to use our brain and ask ourselves why racial discrimination is wrong. Critical thinking is a very powerful tool to drive our youth, our children, our elders safely towards a more cohesive society. We need to start to question anything and any ideas presented to us, including what I am telling you tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, asking questions opens the door to understanding and drives us to make a sense of our world. We should not be fooled by some irresponsible media platforms or political leaders who sometimes misguide the public for political or material gains. This way, they divide the nations into fractions, hating each other and competing with one another. In this beautiful country, which we love and cherish, and we are proud of, everyone has the right to be treated fairly and with full respect. We all have the right to be free from unwelcome racial conduct by anyone and anywhere. My simple advice to anyone tonight: you do not have to put up with racial behaviors. Racial discrimination is often repeated unless action is taken. So we have to take it seriously. Talk to the person, give him or her advice. It may not impact you directly, but definitely it will impact somebody else very badly. It may impact on how you feel about work, study, or accessing services. It can lower your self-esteem and causes health problems. Ladies and gentlemen, we all have a moral responsibility to take steps to prevent racial discrimination. And to speak against it. Talk it over with someone you trust and who will keep the information confidential. This may help clarify your best course of actions. Speak to the people who are causing you troubles and tell them you want them to stop. Seek advice and assistance from your manager, your school, or college counselor, the Human Rights Commission, your union representative, or a lawyer, a professional disciplinary body, the police, the Employment Relations Service. Be a role model. Be vocal in opposing discriminatory views and practices, especially with friends and family who respect your opinion. Help educate others about issues and about your own experience. We should not make assumptions. Stereotypes hurts everyone. Islamophobia is real. It killed in many places around the world. It killed us in Christchurch. We need to examine what our prejudices are and make adjustments to look at everyone as an individual human being created by God. We are all brothers from a different mother. We should learn about other people and their cultures. By learning about other people, our life will be completely different for good, and our appreciation for our own culture will deepen. We should learn about other people and other cultures. By learning about other people, our life will be completely different for good, and our appreciation for our own culture will deepen. In our workplace, in our class, start to work on projects with members or groups different from your own. Working as an equal alongside others from different groups on a common project is one of the best ways to undo prejudice and build positive relationships with other people. Use food to celebrate cultural diversity. Food can present a good opportunity to learn more about someone's culture and traditions. He cooks hangi. She makes pavlova, and they make tandoori chicken, and I make basbousa. As parents or guardians, religious figures, imams, religious ministers, teachers, and educators, we need to expose our people to diversity at a young age. Read stories that explain, that present stereotype. Children can benefit from knowing other children from different groups in the young age before prejudices and biases are formed. As parents or guardians, religious figures, imams, teachers, and educators, we need to find any local anti-prejudice and anti-racist organizations and give them our great support. Whether your efforts are in volunteering, financial donation, or being an advocate, working with other groups toward the same goal can be beneficial to you, to your children, and to the community around you. I'm sure you will meet great people and find real support for your efforts. By getting involved, your voice can make a big difference at the local level and sometimes at the international level as well. Also, we should report any material on television, radio, print, or on the social media which we consider to be racist, as these often likely to lead to racial tension in our society. Quite often, it starts from the social media. Ladies and gentlemen, now nearly 6 months past the tragic events of 15th of March. Where to from here? We need to renew the call for social harmony and to address the racial discrimination and hate speech on the media. We need to promote the value of diversity, racial understanding, and harmony. In all our governmental and non-governmental agencies, we have to be extremely careful. We must not cover any single serious threats to racial harmony in this beautiful country. We need to make sure that it is unacceptable to publish material which is threatening, abusive, or insulting, or likely to excite hostility against any group of people, or bring them into contempt on the ground of their religion, color, race, or ethnicity. Some people may say, we are in a democratic country where the freedom of speech is. Of course, the right to freedom of expression is so important. However, this should not be offensive nor likely to cause serious ethnic tension or unrest in our society. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes the offensive remarks seep from the media or social media We should not keep quiet about it. We have to address our concerns to the publisher or broadcaster and to the social media provider. In New Zealand, there are 3 main organizations that hear complaints about statements in the media and advertising. New Zealand Press Council, Advertising Standards Authority, Broadcasting Standards Authority. New Zealand has set a role model of love and care to the world. And that was very obvious after 15th of March. The whole world praised us for our sympathy and courage. And we showed the world how we genuinely care for our people. After 15th of March, I have been to many countries, and many people told me that they want to come to New Zealand. They want to see New Zealanders. This is you and me. They want to meet the Prime Minister of New Zealand. This is us on the international stage. We have to continue to show the world and our future generations how to care for each other and how to show love to each other. I want New Zealand and New Zealanders to decorate the world record with the love that we share with each other and with the rest of the world. I want New Zealand to be completely free from racial discrimination. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been through a terrible thing together in this country. The only way we can heal is to love one another and to continue the role model we have set to the entire world. The whole world is watching New Zealand to learn from us because they know we are all one. Finally, remember to love each other. Hate will not divide us if love unites us. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Gamal. That was a wonderful talk, and inspiring not just for what you said, but who it's coming from, I think. I'm a social psychologist, by the way, so I can vouch for the methods that you've talked about for promoting peace.
It's very scary for me. I didn't.
Volunteering, shared goals, and so on. So, and especially it's really inspirational because of what you personally have gone through. And I guess I'm going to open up. I think we have time. I'm not sure what time we're supposed to finish up, but we're going to open up for questions in a second. So think about your questions. I'm sure that there are many. But my question would be, what is your advice to those who are more bitter than you are? I guess because I guess I'm not ready to forgive entirely and move forward. How do you keep such a positive outlook?
Thank you very much. Actually, after 15th of March, I heard in the media that the mother of this person, she was very scared, and she talked to the media about this. Then I told her, I talked to the Australian TV in the mosque. They came and I sent her a message. I said that you lost your son and we lost our people. And in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that كُلُّ نَفْسٍ بِمَا كَسَبَتْ رَهِينَةٌ, that every person is responsible for his own actions. No one will be blamed for the actions of another person. And then I said that I'm ready to go and visit her in Australia. Australians are our neighbors, and we should all come together and stand together and love each other. And I said to I'm ready to go to her house and to speak to the neighborhood and the neighbors and tell them, you lost your son and we lost our sons, fathers, and the children as well. This is very important for us. And that is the message I keep repeating everywhere. I went to the Middle East and to Europe and I talked. I remember when I talked in the synagogue, the Jewish community, and I stood by the wall that was destroyed behind the synagogue in Berlin. And I looked at where Hitler used to give his speech. And I said, poor me, I am a man from a very remote place, very remote village in Egypt. Go to school without sometimes shoes and no small pencil. And I go to the farm riding a buffalo. And I am here and I'm standing on the top of the German parliament. And I looked down there and I saw where Hitler used to give his speech. And I said, the German people and the Jews, they felt the pain, and also Muslims also are going through the same pain. You should be the first to feel our pain. After September 11, I shared my story today because I wanted you to know that lots of other people as well, they felt the pain of discrimination, and it is really hurtful. And I feel for this family and this mother as well. So we need to actually start, if every person in his circle or her circle, that racial discrimination should not be tolerated. And we have to love one another. And if you have a bunch of flowers, if they're all white, wouldn't look nice, probably for some people. But if you have a red one, a yellow one, pink one, white one, they all together make a very beautiful bunch of flowers that everybody can enjoy. I like to talk, so I don't want to talk too much.
Okay, thank you. Questions from the audience? I will bring the microphone to you. All right, I'm 52, so.
Good evening, Imam Gamal Fouda. You're doubtless aware that in 2 days' time it will be 9/11, 18 years since the two towers. Have you got a message of peace for... we've had 18 years of fighting. Can you see any light at the end of the tunnel?
Can you repeat this, the last one? Can you see any light in the tunnel?
Can you see any light at the end of the tunnel of this Afghanistan and Iraq?
Actually, of course, it is us As I said, we have choices. People decide, and we have brain, and we need to think. People should work together. And what you see in the Middle East and the war, it is not about religion. And the hate that's being spread around the world after September 11, and even before that, the Crusaders are not supported by Christianity, and ISIS are not supported by Islam. For 3 months in Christchurch, every Friday, I got all the opinions of ISIS and Islamic ideology, and I refuted all their claims. This is also on YouTube, some of them. So people use religions to create hatred. And I said that for political gain and for money. So they want to sell the newspaper, they want to sell their ideas, and they don't care. As long as I create a story that people can, attract the audience, then I look for another story. So now we need to address this. It is racial discrimination. That people need to love each other and care about each other. So ISIS do not represent Islam. And the Crusaders do not represent Christianity. When I read the Bible in Arabic, I cry. Many verses in there, exactly the same as the Quran. It gives you the same message. So it is us that can create the atmosphere to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Thank you. Another question up here.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Ko Lawrence toku ingoa.
Thank you.
Ko whakapūneki toku maunga. It's my mountain. Taikitimu is my waka, where my people come from. And they landed here on the east coast of the Hawke's Bay. I'm half Ngāti Parau and I'm half Ngāti Kānunu. That's where I come from, and my people. We are part of this land. It's quite interesting that my brothers brought me here tonight. I'm a follower of Christ. You're a follower of Islam. And you mentioned Judaism. Is it Judaism? Yeah. It's quite interesting because I believe Jesus died on the cross of Calvary for my sin. But in Islam, you fellas believe he didn't die, which is fine. But then Judaism, they believe that Jesus wasn't the Christ. But we all have the link that links us all together is the word love that you shared in a world that's very chaotic and it lacks peace. We're so blessed here in New Zealand because, it is a peaceful land. We forget, and we've never experienced what you experienced that day. We've never seen that apart from the wars that we had when the Pākehā came to this land. But it's good because they brought the gospel, which I'm very grateful for. But brother, I thank you. I thank you for sharing that there is no discrimination between anybody or any belief. That's our common ground, which is love. And there's a scripture in the Bible that says that may God give you the understanding, may the eyes of your understanding be open that you may know the depth and the the depth of the love of Christ. Jesus died for you, brother, and for us all, but that's my belief. That's just my belief. But I thank you very much for your sharing about there's no discrimination and that peace and love is the way to go forward for us as a country to try and heal the past. You know, we have to discuss it and share about it and learn from it, and then hopefully we can, because you're right, you're so right in that I think there's something like 256 different nationalities in New Zealand. When I was a young fella, you can walk down the street and you would say, bro, what's up? And that was it. But now it's, you know, you've got Bula Vanaka, you've got Namaste, you've got Konnichiwa, you've got so many diversity, which is great for New Zealand. It is great. And you're welcome, brother. No Māori has ever said that to you before, but I bet you there was plenty.
Yeah, thank you very much. Can I just say one thing? The religious minister from Auckland is Maori. The next day of the attack, he came to Christchurch, and I went with him, along with the group of Naitaho, Maori. He looked at the mosque. He said something very special. I never forget what he said. He had this stick in his hand and he said, "This mosque is for you. And this land under the mosque is for us. And the people, your people who are martyred in that place will be buried in our land and our heart. And if you are the children of Ishmael, we are the children of Isaac." He moved me into tears because God is the judge. It's not you or me to judge each other. God called us to believe in Him, and we'll go back to Him, and He will question us. And He asked us to live together and to cooperate with each other, although we have differences. Thank you, brother, very much. I wish I can talk to you in Maori as well.
Thank Thank you. Other questions?
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome home, brother. Long time no see, and I'm very glad to see you here, safe and sound, alhamdulillah. Just working with the Muslim community here in Dunedin, especially the migrant community, especially brothers and sisters who are from refugee background. There have been a lot of discussion around Muslim women and how they could really feel safer in the community. So I just wonder if we can leave today with a message to Muslim women in particular and to women in Dunedin. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. It is very important for all of us to think of our citizenship as our umbrella. Once we deal with each other as New Zealanders, you are New Zealander and I am New Zealander, then we are going to protect each other. We are going to support one another. So for the Muslim, for immigrants, you need to feel that you need to love this place and to feel that it's yours. It is our place. Once after 15th of March, the policeman approached me and said, sorry, brother, that this happened for you in our country. I grabbed him. And I said, no, can you fix this, please? Sorry that this happened in our country. I'm not a guest. I ate from the soil of this land, and I love it, and I cherish it. I love those people. We are one. It is our country. And we all need to work together to make it safe. So for the Muslim or any immigrant, when you migrate here, it is your place. If you are going to think that you are a guest, you will never have a sense of belonging to the place. So you need to have a sense of belonging to this place. Then the citizenship, as I said, is our umbrella. It doesn't matter what's your religion, what your religion is, what your color is, what your race is. And we have the law and regulations in the country. You need to understand your duties and responsibilities. Then you will be safe. You know, some people, because for long experience here, I'm 17 years in New Zealand now, and probably it's long, but when people, they come for advice, they said, oh, they declined my application for residency and this and that. What did you do? You go through it. Oh, you did not submit this. That's why they declined your application. So we need to understand the culture, the rules. We need to learn English. If I live here, I need to start learning English. I need to speak English and understand it so that I can communicate with people, and also I can do my papers correctly. Because people say, oh yeah, no, this is racial discrimination. They declined my application because I am Muslim. No. In many cases, most of the cases, not. It's because you did not understand the rules and regulations. I want to bring my husband from this country, and they declined it 2 times. Can you help me, please? And I said, okay, you go through this. People, they lie as well to bring people in New Zealand. So we have to be realistic and to live the real life and to understand the rules and regulations, get advice, and get a lawyer and understand the place, and that will give you strength and power. So, and also, I had also every non-Muslim anywhere, if you see any Muslim lady getting harassed by somebody because, you know, if I'm going to finish today, I will wear just a normal clothes. I walk on the street, people won't recognize me as a Muslim. But for a Muslim woman, easy to recognize, that woman over there is a Muslim, isn't it? Because of her headscarf. So for a non-Muslim as well, or for any person around, if you see any Muslim woman getting harassed by somebody, or somebody is giving, you know, racial comments and stuff, stand and tell him, no, this is not correct. And when you look like the typical New Zealander, what the typical New Zealander is, then this person, he would respect you, you know. Oh, you know. So we need to strengthen each other and to support each other, and that will make us all strong and powerful, inshallah.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to wrap up here in just 1 second. Last thing I'll say is thank you again to the Dunedin Abrahamic Interfaith Group and the Otago Chaplaincy Trust Board and Vice-Chancellor Harleen Hain and All Saints Church, who is hosting a supper after this. I don't know how to describe where it is. It's up the one way. Ask around if you want. It's over there. Yes, sorry, on Cumberland Street. Thank you. And just if you enjoyed what you saw today, or even better, if you didn't enjoy what you saw today, please go to our the website and place some feedback, and sign up on the sheet that's going around if you want to hear more about events that are going on in the peace space. The last thing I want to introduce Ken Baker, who is the chair of the Dunedin Abrahamic Interfaith Group. And thank you all for coming. Thank you, Gamal.
Thank you very much.
Gamal, we've just working. Right. We have experienced the most significant presence and yourself tonight. You've reminded us that you are a New Zealander. I'm reminded that the first peace lecture presenter here was David Lange, a former Prime Minister of New Zealand. He presented the first lecture in 2004. So, yep, this is the 16th one. Since then, we've had presenters from Australia, UK, Palestine, Canada and other places. But I think it's most appropriate that you are a New Zealander who have been able to come today. You've been able to push aside all of the pressures of your ministry and other demands so that we can experience you tonight. So that is significant. You have shared yourself with generosity, warmth, forgiveness, humility. So that has resonated with us all in different ways. I'm sure I speak for us there. And key features that you've spoken of, the challenge of New Zealand being the capital of harmony in the world. That is a challenge we want to grasp fully. Zero discrimination. We'll all continue to be inspired to work towards that. To ask questions, to learn more, claim the moral responsibility that you've reminded us of, eat together, learn together. Yes, I've been richly blessed through invitation to meals from my Islamic friends, and the fact that we're all loved by God. So our privilege that you have been here. We want to make a gift. I was reminded that this is the 150th year celebration of the greatest university of the world. And in choosing a gift for you, there was something that had the colours of blue and gold on it. And I thought, if you're going back to Canterbury and you wear something that got the colours of blue and gold, that might not be the most conducive experience of harmony and reconciliation. So I chose something that's not coloured blue and gold. Yeah. Anyway, receive this as a token of our great gratitude.
Yeah,
and I can call you brother, and that term will resonate with a different sort of ring, I think, in terms of your profound experience of how that term was used. But brother,
thank you very much.
Great. just before you respond, it's great that Greg Hewson is able to be with us tonight. Greg is a key energy in terms of the progressive peace lectures and a whole lot. I think we should give Greg a round of And Greg's son Hugh has been organising our website. Hey? What did I say? Well, you were responsible for him. So Blair has been running our website. Our sincere thanks for that. You're continuing to run a business here, so all the best with that. And a reminder, the Peace Lecture, yours, Gamal, will be added to our website. The website is over there, www.dunedin.interfaith.net.New Zealand. So all of our peace lectures over the 16 years are on that, and yours will be added. So you're all very warmly welcome to peruse that. So that's me. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, supper at All Saints, continue to engage with Gamal. He'll appreciate that, and thank you for your presence tonight.
Thank you, everyone, and good night.